it's funny that I do have a script, but let me start off with something uh, serious but not serious. From the end, what role has humor played in your leadership?
Oh my God, we need to bring that every single day, because especially when, you walk into the office, because I'm sure, Rohit, not all days are glory days. Like, right? Right? So, I think humor plays a very important role.
Charles, what about you?
I am not very funny. So, at least that's what my children tell me.
Oh, children don't count. Children don't count. My son's right there.
Yeah, so children count.
They don't count it in judging you at your humor. Okay, they'll never get.
No, I've had the pleasure of working with my wife in this last company, and during the pandemic, I realized she really is the boss. And
God, that's funny.
that was at year 36 in our marriage. And so I started to realize, I said, you know what? She's been telling me what to do all this time. I'm going to make her the real boss. And so I changed that was a bright, shiny object underneath the couch. I realized she's already talking and bossing me. Let's make her it official. So she became the CEO of our company. That opened the door for 8A certifications, woman-owned business, all this stuff that I was leaving on the ground. Now, all of a sudden, I could take advantage of it. So, I understand that inflection point, and that's how I had dealt with it. And I'll get funny that my 5'2" wife is bossing this 6'6" guy, and she's really good at it.
All right. So
It's true asset, Charles. Asset.
True. Absolutely.
tangible and intangible.
That's what we can.
So, your bios are on the internet. So I'm not going to belabor the long list of accomplishments the two of you have. So, but I would give you guys, a minute to capture what you would like to tell the audience about yourself. So we'll start with you, Anne.
Sure, Robert. Thank you so much. Really excited to be joining you and Charles, and greetings to all. My name is Anne Ramakumaran. I'm the founder and CEO of Ampcus and the CEO of Ampcus Group of Companies. We're a global business and a technology consulting and a staff augmentation firm headquartered here in Virginia. Love this state, love this region. So we've been in business for over 21 years. This year marks our 21st year in business, and we continue to grow, thrive, and succeed in the marketplace. While we're headquartered in Virginia, we had 18 customer support offices in the U.S., over 12 global delivery centers, 2 innovation labs, where we create magical moments with our clients together, and security operations center. Moved to the United States a little over 25 plus years ago. Started this business from the basement of the house with my 1-year-old. And here we are today with a global workforce of over 3,000 plus employees. In addition to running this company, I also serve on 7 external boards because I've always believed in doing well by doing good. So been part of several nonprofit boards as well as organizations which continue to bring impact in the lives of businesses. For over 12 plus years, we've been awarded the 50 fastest growing women-owned business in the country. From Philadelphia to Richmond, we're the largest privately held women and minority-owned business. And inducted to the WB Hall of Fame nationally, inducted to the Capital Region Hall of Fame, and really excited to where the company is heading out to. So thank you very much, Rohit. Thanks for having.
Absolutely. You love it.
I love that Hall of Fame. Let's start there. I'm in the Washington, D.C. Sports Hall of Fame. But me personally, not my company. And I'm in the Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame, where I'm from. So that's something you wouldn't find anywhere. And I really would like to be in the National Football League Hall of Fame, but somehow the 64-year-old guy has been forgotten a little bit. So, oh well. My wife says it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. I just wouldn't want to be alive when it happens. But anyways, point, I'm a serial entrepreneur. My grandfather grew up as a cement contractor in El Paso, Texas. He owned a business for over 50 years. I would spend summers from Sacramento getting on a Greyhound bus for 12 hours heading to El Paso, Texas to work all summer long. The last summer I worked there, I saved up enough money to buy a mini bike, except I was about $25 short. I cried like a baby, and my parents found the $25 to give me that mini bike was $325. I worked every day, 40 hours a week, all summer long, 5 days a week, to buy $325 worth of a mini bike that I spent all my money on, and it was broke in a couple of months. But that's what we do as young people. But anyway, he was an entrepreneur, and I got that bug. Quick story, I played 12 years in the NFL. Every time my wife was pregnant with a child, we won a Super Bowl. I just thought that's the way life was. She's pregnant, we win. She needs to get pregnant soon because it's killing us. Anyway, so after 12 years, I went into the TV business. I worked for Channel 9, and I didn't like it. It was very hateful. They wanted me to talk bad about everything I could find in the athletic world. Allen Iverson was turning pro. We knew he was turning pro because he was riding around in a $100,000 Mercedes-Benz. So my channel, my TV station, CBS, got him riding in a car. That's all they got is a picture of him, a silhouette of him driving in a car. And the next morning he was turning pro from Georgetown because we exposed that. So John Thompson looked at me in the press conference, and all of his angst was against me because I was Channel 9. I don't own that TV station. I just worked there. So I quickly realized I don't like this. This is not for me. But everybody told me, you speak very well. You're very articulate. You'd be great on TV. And so that's me listening to other people. But what I really wanted to do is own my own business. So Ard Monk, remember that name? Ard Monk and I started a credit card processing company, Alliant Merchant Services, which is around even today. That was in 2004 when we started that business. It's been sold a couple of times, but I'm proud of that first business. That was the first business we owned. And out of that came a lot of opportunities. But what I was missing was I wanted a corporate board seat. I wanted it then, and I'm still wanting it today. So I never found that. And I said, that's part of the leadership piece that I'm missing. Everybody thinks I'm a great leader, but I haven't got to lead anything other than a company. So what happened is I went back to school. Went back to school for 3 years and got my undergrad degree. I never graduated. And that was a blemish on as I hit 50 and start thinking about my life. So I went back to school, got my undergrad degree, and then I went back to school, got my master's. Both of those magna cum laude. So I'm smart. I showed it by my grades, and that's the part that I wanted you all to know about. So then in 2013, I started Charles Mann Enterprises, which I own today. It's a construction company, and I am finding those inflection points. I am finding a way to monetize my name and my celebrity. And that's the funnest part about it, is trying to figure out how it works. And I believe that if Commander Stadium is built at RFK site, I will be on that construction site. So that could be my legacy. So that's what I want.
Oh, wow.
That was a lot. I'm sorry.
These introductions are like,
Sorry, was that an introduction? That was just a preface.
Well, you guys are for an absolute treat. So let me get back to you. And you mentioned that you started the company in 2004 in your basement. When we chatted, he would tell me that he had a 1-year-old. I'm like, oh my gosh. I thought I did something hard when I went back to school to do my MBA. Sure, my son 0 was 3 and my daughter was 1. You started a company. Okay, so uh, would you consider that to be your first inflection point?
Yeah. Rohit, when I look back, I would say, yes, that was one of those, now when we look back, wow, now time's gone by. So right from my perspective, right, 2004 was the year. And I felt the need to start the company then because I realized when we looked around, there were a lot of those companies that focused on providing technology consulting services, business consulting services, or staff aug. But when I took a deeper dive and looked around the market, what I realized that corporations were going through their optimization and rationalization journey because they just realized there were many of those out there. What they were really looking for were those companies that really existed to solve business problems by infusing the right technology solution and bringing the projects to finish line by bringing in the right talent. Hence found the need to start that one-shop stop. And here we are, and that continues, right? Time has gone by, but we still continue to be one of the largest privately held company that focuses on business as well as technology consulting and startup.
What is that that seed that germinates in somebody so young, in such a stage of their lives and careers? How does that seed get germinated through confidence, and where did that confidence come from? Where did it come for you? Like, why were you confident that this was doable?
Yeah, so Rohit, what excites me is, I know people may not like that. When I see a gap in the market, that excites me. When I see there's a challenge, that excites. When people say it can't be done, I'm like, yes, it can be done. Right? So that gap in the market then is what led to me coming to that decision that, yes, now is the time to take that plunge. Quit the job, take that plunge, and embark on that entrepreneurial journey. And for me, because when I was working back in India with one of the consulting firms, the role of that company was basically helping a lot of the US-based companies as well as EU-based companies set up their operations in India, right? Like the GEs, the Jacobs, the associates, and so on. And that's when I realized when you focus on people, you focus on processes, and when you bring that together, you create magical moments. So and that experience is what I wanted to bring back. And I was like, you know what? This is the right comp. To add to that, Charles, you just talked about the 8A certification and all of this. What I realized was then there were corporations putting policies in place to ensure that small businesses have a seat at the table. They were putting policies in place to ensure that businesses like us will look like us, and we all should be proud of who we are. They were infusing women-owned businesses. They were making sure there were policies in place to include them as part of the RFI RTD process. They were ensuring that we all got a fair chance to succeed in the market. I was like, the time was perfect. Yes, there's a gap in the market, and guess what? Corporations are putting policies and procedures in place to ensure we all get a fair chance to succeed in the marketplace. So that's what led to, that decision and taking the plunge and starting the entrepreneur.
So, Andrew, this is a teachable moment that the institutional knowledge that Anne had about what the opportunities were available and how she could match with opportunities with the skills and resources she had, and then she was able to capture those things. Sounds like a teachable moment regarding, using those intangible assets, which is your institutional knowledge about the environment you're in, and then leveraging that in that moment of an inflection point that you were capture. Charles, I want to take you back a little bit. The decision to become a professional athlete, leaving college early, that's a major personal inflection point. Talk to me about when did you know you wanted to be a professional athlete? And how did it change you as a person when you were part of a professional team that was competing at the highest level, but initially perhaps not winning? How does that give you that take us back to that inflection point in your life? That it's a big decision to forego college. You're going into a field, you're playing grown men. You're going into a team environment where we're not going to be the big dude anymore, which a lot of college athletes have to deal with. Talk to us about a little bit of that personal inflection point. Of what gave you the confidence that you could make that diversion?
Well, I always tell people that my father's death bought me life. My father died when I was 20 years old. So I was 20 years old. My dad was 46. He had a abscessed tooth that he never took care of. He would gargle warm salt water and then keep on going. Anyway, it got him. He ended up leading to throat cancer. So I went home on that bus from Reno, Nevada, where I had, was attending school. And I was so broke up from my father's death. Now, there's 8 of us in my family. I'm number 6 of 8 children. And so, but I had my father's name. I was Charles Mann like he was Charles Mann. So Charles Mann was dying. That old Charles Mann. I was not a good guy. I was not a person of my word. I was out there in the world. I was at Reno, Nevada, all night town. Sometimes I came in from a party the next day. I felt like vampire or something because the sun. Anyway, I was a bad dude. This gave me a chance to redo my life. So I came back to school and was able to get eligible for my senior year of football. And now I was on a mad tear to be the best that I could possibly be. I was going to redo it. Now, I was trying to do that on my own. Can't do that as a 20-year-old kid on your own. So I came back to school. I'm not going to womanize. I'm not going to party. I'm not going to do all these things. And, hey, the new recruits, the new girls got on campus, and the guys, I was a football player, so I could have to figure the litter, all that stuff was coming back. And I just said I wasn't going to do any of that. And anyway, what helped me is I met this woman that I've now been married to for 41 years, but I met that woman. So if I'd have kept my word, which I didn't keep, I would have never met her. But I did meet her. I was starting the transition in my life, looking for a way to make myself more presentable. And I found this group of people that love God. And so I hung with them. Next thing I know, I was overtaken. And when I walked in that locker room, the Washington Redskins locker room, there was Art Monk. Then there was, and I'm just naming people, not wanting to categorize them, but I'm just telling you what I've seen. There was Art Monk, there was John Riggins, there was Monty Coleman, there was Dexter Manley. There was all these guys, all these heroes of mine, but there was something different about them. Art Monk, Monty Coleman, Darryl Green, Ken Coffey, Mel Kaufman, those guys looked you in the eye. When they spoke to you, they looked at you sincerely. The other guys were the scratch and sniff guys. I know those guys. That's me. The womanizers and drinkers and, roughhousers. And I had a chance. I was 3,000 miles away. I could be anybody I wanted to be. So I decided to be with these guys. And Art Monk and Monty Coleman and Ken Coffey, those guys took me under their wings and loved on me. So now I'm starting afresh. So at 22 years old, on the Super Bowl winning team, they had just won the Super Bowl that year before. I'm on their team and I could be anybody I wanted. So my inflection point was the crowd that I picked. That crowd, I think, oh, by the way, Art Monk has been married to his wife for 46 years. Monty Coleman, 38. Darryl Green, 41. Same as me. Ken Coffey, 41. These are all quack men. Married long time. That's not normal. At least that's what society tells us. That's not possible, but it is. I know those guys. They're my friends. So that was the start. Picking the right people to line up with.
And Charles, I'm sure that plays very important role even in business. It is so important to surround yourself with people with that mindset, especially when it comes to the attitude. Yes, we got to do this. And we got it, right? I mean, it plays a very important role.
Athletes, athletes. We have the note. I don't consider anything too large.
Yeah.
Or any opportunity too big. I was last night, late night. I was responding to an RFP for a opportunity at MWA, which I'm certified for, that I probably shouldn't go after. But I said, why not? Nothing here for nothing gained.
Absolutely.
So I'm responding to RFPs, me, and sitting at my little computer, responding to RFPs, and I had a good chance of winning that thing. There was only 6 other people competing against me. I'm a winner in all aspects of life. I've won, and I know how to win, and I know the DNA, and the DNA is work your butt off. There's something about athletes and military professionals. We have something in us that no can do. I mean, we always will be.
Well, thanks for inspiring us. I don't want to fish it out. I mean, what you just brought up is what was the next question, and I'll combine the two questions for you. Uh, Talk to me about how do you think you had the team that would take to achieve your vision, and once you had that, how do you internally organize them? And did you have to reorganize things? And as you found people who you were essentially ingredients, talk about that team building process and the moment where you knew that you had the team, and how did the team look like?
Yeah, sure. So, from my perspective, and I'm sure many of the entrepreneurs of the room will believe that people should be considered as the center of your universe. Period. Right? And it's people. People play an important role. You may have the best product and solution in the market, but if you don't have the right people with the right attitude and the positive mindset, believe me, you can't take that product or solution to market. Right? So I think keeping that in mind, I've always paid attention to, bringing in the right talent. Rohit, from our perspective, we picked one industry segment first, brought in leaders from that specialized in that industry segment or had that experience within that industry segment. And what we continued to do was bring in leaders that had the industry experience, as well as bring in leaders that had the technology experience. Because technology is just an enabler. You're solving a business problem. If you don't understand what's the business problem that industry is facing, you cannot bring in the right technology solution to solve the business problem. So that's the approach that we took. Focused on one industry segment, brought in leaders within that industry segment, continued to expand our presence within that industry segment, but early on knew had to diversify, or else, there could be times when that industry would dip, right? I mean, we've seen it all. I'm sure all of y'all have seen it in this last 20 years, economic downturn, government shutdown, pandemic, you name it. So we focused on diversification as well. While we were expanding our presence within an industry section, started off, our first client was basically a hospital in Melbourne. Continued to work within the healthcare space, moved to the banking, financial services, then moved to telecom, utilities. And while we were expanding our presence within those industry segments, we continued to bring in leaders that had the functional experience and expertise, as well as technology leaders who are not just thinking about today, but thinking 5, 10 years ahead. And when those teams collaborate, you're going to not only bring a positive impact in the lives of that particular client, but you're going to continue to bring positive impact and focus on bringing a positive impact across industry sectors. And that's the approach that we've taken. To your point, Rohit, did we have to organize and reorganize? So in about last 8 years, all our growth has been organic. In the last 8 years, we've gone ahead and infused inorganic growth. And we've done some strategic acquisitions. And the reason for those acquisitions, Rohit, was because we had seen a shift in the way our customers were procuring goods and services. If you think about this DMV region, it's a powerful region. Third largest economy in the United States, the 7th largest economy in the world. This region, DMV, is home for about 53, 58 publicly traded companies. This region is home for about 212 plus domicile corporations, which means they may not be headquartered here, but they have a huge presence. This region is home for about 138 universities that provide 4-year degree. There's so much happening here. But what we saw was, Rohit, a lot of our clients in this region were moving from local to national to global. And because they were going in that direction, we had to go with them. Right? So we started off locally, then moved nationally, and today we're globally. We're there in 12 different locations across the globe. So Rohit, that forced us to bring in leaders, not only that specialized within a specific industry segment, but focused and had a huge presence in the locations where our customers were going. So absolutely, we had to organize and reorganize those for the better,
So for the benefit of the time as a growth story, Charles, and then this is a make you talk for 4 hours because I mean I'm just letting everything you guys are saying. Take us back to the moment you and Art decided to start a company. Talk to us about the team building you've seen in your entrepreneurial career. That well, you had a brand, you were who you were, you still needed, as we discussed, a village around you. Talk to us a little bit about. It'll come back to her, and I'm getting the sign from Tanya. As Woody said, but I want to know how you approach team building. You also told us about how you were lucky enough to be the presence of people like Art, got to the rest. And then you decided to also work with Art. Tell us more about the team build out on the entrepreneurial side.
So I was speaking, used to do a lot of public speaking. I was speaking to a company out in California. And this company in California, the guy pulled up in this Range Rover to pick me up. He just dressed really nice. And I was speaking on his behalf to his company. And I realized, I said, and I then come into this conclusion. I said, these CEOs that I'm speaking to their teams, they're not the brightest tools in the shit. Anyway, and I realized that I said, I could do what they do because they're running Fortune 500 companies and they're asking me to come in to motivate their team. Why don't I own my own team? So Art and I started talking about it. We started discussing it. We looked at the pros and cons of what it would take, and the financial services industry was a wonderful industry to go into. We were going to our clients that beloved us already. So we didn't use our name. It was Alliant Merchant Services. It's still around today. When I go to the dentist, I use my card on Alliant Pay, this machine. That's my former company. Anyway, so we built the team around, we don't need our names. We're going to use Alliant Merchant Services. Art came up with the graphics. He's a graphic designer by trade from Syracuse University. So he'd be in his room, he'd be in his own office, and he would just be doing things, building up the brand. That's what his job was. My job was to sell everything I could sell. And I sold everything. I was selling 30 new accounts a month for like 8 years. 30 new accounts a month. That was probably, I'm not doing that anymore, but I was selling my butt on it. I was leveraging my celebrity to go into these doors. So anyway, so we built a team. There was about 15 of us in the company, and we were headquartered right here at 7100 Leesburg Pike. We were in the Olive Garden building.
Oh,
Olive Garden on the 5th floor. That's where our offices were. So, and we were there for a long time. That we built out the company because I know we got to go. We built out the company because we were utilizing the strengths of each other. Yes. Utilizing Art was a graphic designer, so I kept him out there. He didn't have to sell. We built the sales team to back me up. I was selling 70% of the accounts, and the sales team was selling the other 30. But we were doing a great job of using our strengths to build a company.
Final question. Village.
Yeah.
Does indeed. Final question for the both of you, and I'll start with Leanne. At challenging moments, how would you encapsulate the guiding philosophy? Like, what is the mantra, if you had one, when you really, and the future is uncertain, something that you expect it doesn't go to wage. What is that guiding philosophy in those moments for you?
Yeah, I mean, Robert, I think we all entrepreneurs have to remind ourselves not all days are big glory days. Having said that, we got to believe in ourselves. We'd have to believe in the mission and vision of the company. And that belief is what will take us places. There's some things, Rohit, my dad would always say, there's a solution to every single problem. You just got to take a deep dive and see and explore. So what continues to remain and what keeps me motivated and keeps me going is that belief, that confidence, and the eagerness. The hunger is still there, Rohit. We've been in business for 21 years. I'm sure Julie will attest that. My colleague who's joining me this morning, the hunger is still there. The hunger to solve business problems, the hunger to move the needle from where we are to where we need to go to, that hunger of bringing positive impact in the lives of our clients, our employees, our communities where we live, serve, operate, and support. All of that is there. And that hunger and the patience and persistence is what has helped me to get to where we all are today. And again, I cannot take that credit alone. I'm surrounded by amazing people in the company who have that same mindset and have that same eager of moving the needle from where we are to where you need to get to.
Well, I'm sure the stakeholders rage, folks. For me, Charles, same question for you. What is a guiding philosophy in moments of self-doubt, external challenges? What guides you?
There are a lot of challenges. Always is small businesses. There are a lot of challenges. I'm still a small business, but my little mantra is it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Everything we do, it's about finishing strong. So I am not finished. I am just starting. And so we say that to everybody. My son tattooed it on his sleeve on his arm, which I wasn't telling him to do. I was a little disappointed that he did that. But because I say it all the time, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I want to finish in life well. That's why at 64 years old, I have the energy of a 40-year-old because I'm excited about the journey that I'm on.
I hope our commanders can listen to that and finish strong. They need to be taught. They do. I want to thank Anne and Charles so much for being here for this panel. I think, Anne, you started us off. This has really just, propelled us. Thank you so much for being here. And we're going to quickly start the next session right after this. But thanks again. I've left souvenirs.